Hello, welcome to Good Brews, Bad Views, the podcast that asks if great beer makes bad movies any better. I'm your dulcim limb-length host, one Max Nestorowicz, and as always, I'm joined by a man whose license plate in his car literally says, Hadouken! Ryan Everhart.
Hello.
And the thrust-kickingest Thorpe of them all, James Thorpe.
Hi, Dukin.
Nice.
Very good, very good. And we are joined once again by a returning guest with the Chun-Li quality thighs, Stephanie.
Coming in for that 300-pound deadlift.
Yep.
All right.
So, if you cannot tell from our bad puns, today we are watching Street Fighter, the 1994 adaptation of a game with more versions than there are episodes of this podcast.
That's probably correct.
Yeah. So, since Stephanie is a returning guest, we do not have our usual questions, but we have a new question for all of us, which is, what is your favorite Street Fighter? Or who is your favorite Street Fighter? Starting with James.
So I almost exclusively play Cammy.
Nice.
Yeah. That said, it is very fun to play the oiled up Turkish guy because it makes everyone mad.
Hakan!
Because
Hakan!
his oil-based attacks are gross
ridiculous.
and but I suppose for posterity's sake I should go with Cammy because I don't think Hakan is ever coming back.
You never know.
The pink Turkish wrestler,
You
man.
can hope.
Yeah. For me, when I was very young, I really liked Dalsim. I just thought like his cool, stretchy limbs were super awesome. But
For those who can't see, Max is making stretchy limb movements
Yeah.
right now.
I have to
So
demonstrate
that's
stretchy
everybody.
limbs.
So that is everybody.
Yeah, you can't normally see it on the... Well, you can't see it, period, on the
TV
podcast.
for 3.
Yeah.
There's 3 people that can see right now, right?
Yep.
So Max
It
can
dumps
pour
us
us...
around.
Yeah, he can pour us all drinks from where he sits. He doesn't have
Yeah,
to move.
just-
He just stretches to each new seat and pours beer in the
Useful
But he doesn't
podcast
because he's a
host
jerk.
Yeah.
No.
He can, but he won't.
Carpe beer, seize your own beer.
Yoga, passive aggressiveness.
I did make him go to yoga with me once.
I didn't do
And he
terrible.
did impressively well.
Yeah. So
Stretchy limbed bastard.
and it was hot yoga too. So like extra okay.
Right.
But as I got older and was playing against you guys, I'm much better with Zangief than I am with
Yeah, the
Dalsim.
Geef.
So
Nice.
yep.
Speaking of yoga, Max, so
Yes.
I've started watching 911
Yoga mats.
because it's a ridiculous TV show.
Okay.
And the episode I was watching just before I came over here, one of the plots of the episode is that there's an entire yoga studio full of pregnant women who all simultaneously begin giving birth at the same time.
Wow.
I think
Sounds
I've had
like
that
a
nightmare
nightmare.
before.
It's amazing. It's
that was
so
pretty
bad.
Yeah. Okay then. Stephanie, who's your favorite Street Fighter?
So normally in any kind of game situation, I hate being like the popular characters. I always go for like the random, no one plays as this character. But in Street Fighter, I'm Chun-Li all the way. I did have a brief stint where I tried to make Fei Long my main character.
Dude's brutal, man.
Yeah, and I like playing as him. He's probably always going to be my second, but Chun-Li, man, those quads.
She's pretty infrequently played from my experience playing
Really?
online, at least.
I mean, she's known as like the first lady of gaming as far as
Her and Ryu are the only ones that have been in every Street Fighter game, like every iteration.
Yep, probably.
and I think all the Marvelverse Capcom games.
And and she was the first like female character in a fighting game. took off.
for Street Fighter 2, the most influential fighting game ever.
That said, Ryan, I think when you do fight her online, at least in Street Fighter 4, people who played her were the kings of I punch you once and then run away from you the whole match. So you lose on time.
Just controller throwingly annoying.
Yes.
So we'll wrap things up with Ryan. Who is your favorite Street Fighter?
Well, I have always been a fan of Ryu, whichever. My dad got me this game for Sega Genesis when I was very young. And the Street Fighter was the reason that I purchased a 6-button controller, something that was different than the stock controller that came with the Genesis. For anyone that remembers the Genesis stock controllers, at least early on, the D-pad was basically just rectangular razor blades for your thumb.
Yes.
And I actually ripped was constantly tearing flesh off of my thumb
So
playing Street
many.
Fighter.
Before I had barbell calluses, I had video game controller
I
calluses.
understand.
Does anybody remember the Mario Party? Like,
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
joystick.
Yep. And all the blisters
Yeah.
that caused.
So
you didn't know
many
what blisters were until that happened?
No.
The Olympic Games that
Yeah.
Ryan and I played.
Yeah,
for a
like Olympic
long
Games for
time.
Nintendo 64 and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just rub your knuckles
That's
really
brutal.
fast on the buttons. I mean, you do well, but boy, you lose skin.
Other
Yep.
guest of the show, Jordan Ferraro, has a like supernatural ability to do the A/B sprint. in
Oh,
the game.
the...
Yeah, without cheating on
With
the
only
uses
one
his-
hand.
Yeah.
With just
His
these
index
two
and
fingers.
middle
That's not
finger.
normal.
And he would set world records. Like he ran like a 9.5 or something like that.
Shout out to Jordan for his weird finger skills.
Yeah.
Not making jokes here, but no, I mean, I played Ryu a lot. This is one of the few games where I tried to get good with most characters, but Ryu's always been a staple. But to your point, Steph, I always like to also find characters that people tend not to play and just figure them out. And in Street Fighter 4, I dug so deep into Goken.
Oh, yeah. I
love the
Okay.
hell out of it.
Early on in the podcast, before Street Fighter V came out, James and I would come over, and you would be in the training mode, just practicing with Goken.
Mm-hmm. And I'm super annoyed that he's not in Street Fighter 5. But
Yeah. Oh, well.
C'est la vie. The life of a
Same with
Fighter
Oni.
man, I
That's the
guess.
one benefit
back
to
Oni.
playing a popular character. They're always going to be in every game.
Right.
Yep. So, yes, we are watching Street Fighter, starring one Jean Claude Van Damme, one Raúl Juliá, and one Ming-Na Wan as Chun-Li. I bring her up as she was actually the voice of Mulan.
Right.
So, you know,
I did not ever make that connection.
Yep. And she is the cavalry in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
that is also true.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Ryan,
Yo.
why don't you tell the people where they can watch this movie?
Well, not everybody owns a physical copy of this movie like me, but
You should.
today we're watching this on Amazon Prime. Weirdly enough, there are 2 Universal Studios intros to this movie, to this version that we're watching. So we're actually at the tail end of the second Universal logo. So it's we just got the Universal, the R, the restricted symbol popped up on the right, and it says an MCA company. At the bottom, we are 58 seconds in. So if you're playing along at home, press play now.
So before we get into this rich tapestry of a movie, just a reminder, aside from Street Fighter, we'll be drinking some nice craft beer alongside this movie.
Movie quotes.
Stephanie, why don't you tell us what you brought us today from Montreal?
This is, okay, first of all, I cannot speak French at all. I have no ability to, that accent is just beyond me. This is from, it's called Microbrasserie 4 Origines. If you
Bless you.
speak French, I apologize. I'm sure that was completely terrible. It's the 4 Origins Brewery. It's outside of Montreal. And it's a Saison that I picked because I felt like I should bring us back something Belgian since we were coming from Montreal. And B, because it's called Saison de Cônes, and the logo on it is a bunch of traffic cones, which coming from Michigan, we are very familiar with. So I thought it was rather funny.
State tree, state flag.
Yep. State Bush.
State bird. I don't know
Yep.
about that one.
Just the traffic cone with wings.
Anyway, it's a Saison with orange tea.
Yeah, and it is quite delicious. We are in peak fall, so can't drink Saisons for too much longer before it's just too
Yeah.
fall/wintry.
Then the beer police show up and take you away.
Yep.
Stouts or nothing.
Yep. So here we have one Raúl Juliá playing M. Bison, and he's riding around in his hovercraft on loan from Dr. Robotnik.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. This is Raúl Juliá's last movie. He died 2 months before it came out due to,
Right.
I believe, it was stomach cancer.
It
He had
was
a stroke. He had
He had
cancer,
stomach cancer, but he
but
died
it
of
was
a stroke.
that killed him, yeah.
Yeah, he died soon enough after filming was done that the end credits are actually credited.
He actually, he was like so
dedicated
sick
to him.
already when they were filming this movie that they had to switch around a lot of the training. Like, they originally, I forget how it went now. They originally were going to they were going to shoot his less intense scenes like first. And then he was like going downhill so fast that they were like, we can't do that. And they had to restructure the training of everybody.
Huh. He doesn't look sickly
No.
most of the time
Well,
in this movie.
So this is a year after Addams Family Values, and if you look at his face in that movie to this movie, you can see he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I believe it.
So this is Street Fighter, the movie, based off of Street Fighter 2, Which brings up the question of Street Fighter 1. Does it exist? No one I know has ever played it, so I'm going to say no.
It does exist, but it's a beat 'em up game.
Yeah, it's like
Is what
Streets
it
of
is.
Rage.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot all about Streets of Rage until right now.
Yeah.
I guess one of the weird things that Street Fighter 2 pioneered, it was like one of the first fighting games to ever let you do mirror mode, where you could both pick the same character.
Steven D'Souza. You've been on the podcast a couple times, most notably in our very first episode of the Flintstones.
Did he direct that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I learned something today.
He also did Running Man.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is going to be a very educational podcast. I can tell already.
Yep.
Interesting.
Right there, we begin our just random citing of Street Fighter characters. Like DJ
Yeah.
is just the tech guy.
Yeah.
Well, originally they wanted to do like 6 or 7 characters, but Capcom was like, no, more. Put in more. Put in more.
Well, they ended up with everybody except for Fei Long and T-Hawk. Where
T-Hawk's
T-Hawk's
here.
in this, man.
Yeah.
T-Hawk's in here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll point him out. But yeah, there is no Fei Long. That's correct.
Yeah.
So this movie came out with like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Street Fighter
94.
2 didn't have Cammy, didn't have T-Hawk, didn't have DJ.
Yep.
I
I
love
like
the
that little
van.
effect of when E Honda gets out of the car, it
Just about flips over.
Yep. But no, I think I counted there's 15 characters from the game in this movie.
That's awesome. This guy's DJ accent sounds like if I was doing an impersonation of DJ.
I
It's
love it,
really
though. It's
bad.
so cheesy.
It's so bad.
So the guy playing Zangief, 1, is fucking perfect.
He's great.
Yeah.
But 2, apparently he was born in the 60s, so he's an older guy. He also played Leatherface in the 2000s remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He's got the frame for it, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Here we have Charlie Blanca, combination of Nash and Blanca. But
As someone in a position like Guile, as the position he has, don't you think he'd know that doing this was a bad idea?
Wouldn't you
Yeah.
not call out, like, by
Yeah.
the way, that's my friend. Please
well,
feel free to
that
use it
that
against
implies.
me."
I mean, that exchange back and forth is like, can they see each other?
Yeah, it's a little
It's a
weird.
valid point, too.
Yeah. But Raúl went hard in the paint for this role. He was studied a lot on how like the mannerisms of Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, as well as crime bosses. So he is out acting
His acting
everyone
performance
in this
is
movie.
like, this movie does not deserve him.
No,
He is kind of towering.
no.
The only
That is
one-
T-Hawk.
That's T-Hawk on
Next
the
to Cammy.
second from the right.
He has 30 seconds of character development at the end of the movie. That lets you know that it is T-Hawk.
Yep.
They use
Well,
his name.
it didn't work because I didn't even realize it.
Exactly.
They use his name. They actually call him T-Hawk like
Do they?
once. Yeah.
Yep.
Kylie Minogue's actually a really good choice, I think, for Cammy.
A lot of this was filmed in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and the Australian Actors Guild was like, "We would like it if you would feature someone who's Australian."
Mm-hmm.
And Cammy was the only character they hadn't cast yet, and that's how Kylie Minogue ended up.
Yeah.
She's great in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So here we have Street Fighter. We're about 5-6 minutes into this movie. No street fighting. Here we have a semblance of street
We have some
fighting.
cage fighting.
street fight.
Cage fighting. We had cage fighting. We had evil villain based fighting, but no actual street fighting yet.
So Vega, at least appearance wise, is one of the characters that they nailed it for this
Yes.
movie.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, aside from not being a blonde guy, but he just looks very much like Vega. It's great. I get it doesn't matter for people who haven't played the games really, but the way that Ken and Ryu are portrayed in this movie is just so stupid.
As
Awful.
grifters.
They're both
Well-
awful.
Street Fighter is not known for having a deep, complex plot.
Also,
like, look-
Ken is the brother of a character from Full House.
Oh boy,
Really?
He looks like it.
Yeah, he does.
No, I agree with
Uncle,
you. Though.
he looks like he's
Uncle
gonna
Joey.
show you to
Yeah.
your seat at a
He
country
just-
buffet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Uncle Joey's like more handsome brother.
Yeah. His younger, handsomer brother.
I feel like I should be watching him on a sitcom, not.
Yeah. So is Wes Studi just perpetually an old guy? Like
Yes.
he doesn't age, but he's always been old.
Wes
Yeah.
Studi has also been on the podcast before. He was in Deep Rising
Yes.
as the head of the
Was.
Pirates.
Which is still one of my favorites.
Deep Rising rules.
Yep.
Fuck yes.
Sagat also being this tiny just doesn't
Yeah, because he's what, 7 feet? I mean, nitpicking stuff.
They do give him the eye patch, so I'm happy about that.
And he's a Native American actor, and I think he passes well for being Southeast Asian.
He's a. I mean,
It's
I like
less
that he is a crime
offensive than
boss.
some of the other portrayals.
Yes.
So
yeah, Ken and Ryu, part-time fighters, full-time grifters, and weapons dealers.
And this scene is silly. This whole movie is silly. But this scene is silly.
The sound effects is what...
Yeah, that's what really jumps it miles over the shark, are the fucking sound effects. Toys, blah, blah, blah.
Does Sagat watch Living Color?
Yeah.
Maybe make
Sagat's all, let me show you something! Smacking him around.
Yeah.
So weirdly, this movie came out, and then they made a Street Fighter fighting game of the movie. So it was Street Fighter, the movie, the game. And I've always wanted to play it, because it took the Mortal Kombat approach from the earlier games, where it was real video of people in costume, just kind of cut and pasted into a fighting game, and it looked ridiculous. I never actually played it.
Yeah, there's a character they created for this movie who was in that game. Captain Sawada, who's a Japanese actor that Capcom was like, oh yeah, he's going to be the face of Capcom for the 90s or whatever, that they put into that game and looks a lot like Fei Long, apparently.
Huh.
So, yeah.
He's dubbed horrendously in this movie. It's really bad.
Here we have another... Just throw a character name on somebody.
Yeah, and that was the downside of them being like, put in more characters. They're just like cameos. So here we have an Indian actor who is playing Dulcian, which, weird little chain thing.
That's another one that it took me a substantial amount of time to realize that it was supposed to be Dulcian.
Yeah. Well, they say his name like once, and then it's...
Yeah, but if you don't catch it, you're never gonna...
Yeah, casting that guy as Dulcian was kind of a stretch.
All right, Ryan, turn off your mic. You're done. You're done.
I'm also curious as to what these chains are supposed to do.
It's supposed to make his life really inconvenient.
Completely unencumbered.
But he just can't move his arm out very far.
He can move his arms almost the entire length that they can go out.
Maybe that's how they're getting away with. Well, he didn't stretch it all in the movie because he can't.
Yeah. Could you imagine if your job was to edit those scenes together? It's like, okay, yeah, take some footage from World War II and
actually in the end credits,
Southeast Asia. They credit where it all comes from. But
I'm gonna check it right now. I'm wondering if this guy Andrew Brynierski, the guy playing Zangief, is also the guy who voiced him in Wreck-It Ralph. I'm gonna check on that.
No, it's a good question. Yeah.
Be right back.
Yep. So yeah, this place has no fume hoods. It's a giant OSHA violation.
We've got yellow drink, green drink, and Hawaiian punch.
Mutagenic Kool-Aid.
Oh god. Credit to the sign guy for making a Ryu sign.
Oh yeah.
I was literally just about
with
to
some
say the
flair.
same thing.
It's not just like just like a slapdash Ryu.
Yeah.
Slapdash Ryu.
So Stephanie, you requested a comeback for another JCVD movie. What's your connection with him and his quote-unquote cinema?
Also, a follow-up question. What's your problem?
Okay, I don't know if I can answer that one. No, when I was in college, I don't know how this inexplicably started happening, but it's like every time we would go out, we'd go drinking, we'd come home, it'd be 2 a.m, we'd turn on the TV, and Bloodsport was on. Every time.
Excellent.
Every time.
There was a period in the early aughts where that movie was on all the time.
No, I can tell you, I say inexplicably, but I do know why. It's because that was back in the day when Versus had an NHL contract. And so they would show NHL games on Versus, the network. And Versus late night would turn into trashy, like, old movie network, and they would play the same 7 movies over and over and over again, and Bloodsport was one of them. So the TV would be on Versus because we had been watching hockey, and then you would turn it on and it would be in the middle of a terrible Jean Claude Van Damme movie. And then when we went out for my 21st birthday, the bar we were at was playing the one with Dennis Rodman and the Tiger.
Oh,
Double Team?
Yes.
Yes.
And the subtitles were complete and utter nonsense, just words that made absolutely no sense. So of course we sat there and watched it and got progressively drunker. And somehow that just turned into, as a group, we watched every Jean Claude Van Damme movie, and
that sounds like a great bonding
he's
experience.
got a great accent. I could listen to him talk forever.
Yeah.
I like that we do have the CW reveal here for Ryu.
Yeah.
Now we can fight because he has abs.
Yep.
Yeah.
90s abs
And
as
the-
opposed to
Yes.
2000s abs, which is a completely different thing.
The lady throwing her "I love Vegas" sign away actually makes me
That was
Yes.
and how he's wounded by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I don't know. He's got pretty 2000s-y abs. Right
Yeah,
there.
Vegas?
Those
Well,
belong. on
no. I meant Ryu's abs.
both of them have the.
Those
have
are,
them
he's
there.
got some nice, those are some triceps. Those are
those
some
are-
biceps.
Yeah.
But both
Vegas
these guys,
ripped.
They're
Vegas
nice and veiny.
shredded.
Both these guys would fit right into an episode of Arrow. You can see one of these two guys doing the salmon run right
Yep.
next to Oliver.
Stephen Amell.
Yep.
Yep.
Bum, 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 bum.
No street fighting for you.
Oh yeah, freedom.
The Kool-Aid Man tanks.
What
Just takes out the arena completely.
anti-aircraft APCs come in?
Yep.
Oh,
They were expecting a lot of aerial moves. It's Street Fighter.
So
Is that how it works? Do you just
Yeah.
say that and
Yeah.
everyone gives up?
yeah,
Almost none of the, not that the rest of it is much better, but almost none of the first half hour of this movie has any kind of logic behind the sequence of events.
Also, I want to take a moment to comment. There's Sawada here.
Yep.
And he's the only person in the world who pronounces Colonel exactly how it's spelled. He says
Or his
Colonel.
dub does at least.
Yeah, his dub says. There's a weird running joke in quotes of the radio DJ making fun of Shadowloo, which they make twice during the movie, but repeatedly throughout the credits, which I didn't notice actually till watching this yesterday.
I think it's supposed to be a reference to Good Morning Vietnam with
yeah.
Robin Williams.
Good Morning Vietnam.
which is a great movie.
An incredible movie.
Yep. So here we have Jean Claude Van Damme,
Yeah.
who
It is an unfortunate haircut.
yeah.
Or hairstyle, rather.
They should have just leaned into it and given him 14 feet of vertical with that fucking hair.
A kid in play.
Certainly
Yeah.
defeated him because he doesn't have abs.
Yeah.
What is with that in fighting games? The American guy with the 15-foot tall blonde hair,
The American
Yeah.
characters are almost always blonde
you
hair,
got
blue eyed.
him, you got
In
King of Fighters. No,
Right.
that wasn't. No, that's Benimaru.
I guess Johnny Cage.
when the Japanese make a fighting game, they're pretty straightforward about characters from other
You know
countries.
where everyone is
Yeah.
from.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
But JCVD at the time was not only banging Cammy.
Super cocaine-y, right?
Yeah, $10,000 a week in
Oof.
cocaine.
Oof.
They hired a handler for him to keep him on the level. Wasn't a good idea for the handler apparently. And
boy.
Steven D'Souza is on the record about this. This is a recently revealed fact about
Oh
this
boy.
movie. Yeah.
That's awesome.
D'Souza actually denied his salary so we could pay his actors more, which I can really respect.
That's really
from,
cool.
Well, they
Vega's resourcefulness here of making a bamboo claw almost immediately
Yeah.
is awesome. He's like, I can't go anywhere without a claw.
Pulls out a claw space.
they did say T-Hawk. All right, I'm a believer.
Yeah, it's all blink and you'll miss it kind of thing.
Yeah, I did.
Which is funny because, again, nitpicky nerd stuff here, but T-Hawk is the largest character in the video games, and he's just
And
some scrawny little
so
stick man in this movie.
stereotypical, and there's so much you could have.
But really,
leaned
what
into.
character isn't very stereotypical?
I mean, you're not wrong.
So
I mean, Oni looks exactly like every other. What people would imagine an Oni would look like.
yeah,
And there's literally a Japanese schoolgirl named Sakura.
yeah. And picture a Turkish guy, and then you have Hakan, or
A
No.
sunburnt Turkish guy.
Hakan might be the one that breaks that because he is so utterly and amazingly ridiculous. His character model isn't tan. His character model is just red.
he's been on the that one Alex Jones supplement.
Yeah.
Just makes you redder.
Yeah, Hakan is just Alex Jones.
What?
Turkish Alex Jones.
I'm not quite sure. Are the injection points in his elbows and knees? Is that why there's arrows pointing into there? Or are they just like, these are where your elbows and knees go?
It's intravenously injected.
Ah!
I'm a doctor.
You can tell because they have red crosses on their.
Just takes the baby and hurls it into the sea. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, later you see people who have like just like Red Cross smocks on. It's just like giant like tabards with just the yeah. There's one of them.
Come on, I've got a barrel full of cocaine over here.
Yeah.
Also, who are you fooling that Guile is American?
Yeah, what the hell?
I guess Capcom like specifically wanted him though.
Really?
Yeah, like they
He was huge.
It's a star power grab,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
and between him and I'm blanking on Bison.
Raúl,
Yes.
Juliá.
I couldn't think of the name.
Juliá.
The two
Juliá.
of them were like 90% of what they had available to pay the cast.
Oh, I believe that entirely. But like when I think of like the big like buff action stars of the 80s and early 90s, I
foreshadowed.
put him on the smaller side. Like I think someone that would have been maybe more suitable for like frame wise would have been Kurt Russell.
I think that would have been a better choice overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he would have probably cost more.
Yeah. I mean,
You
Van
think?
Damme at this point
This
was
time
like,
frame?
Yeah, that's a tough call.
Van Damme was the rising star when this movie came out.
In '94?
Yeah.
Well, he
all the
was pretty
kickboxer
high
stuff
up.
was in the 80s.
Yeah, he was pretty well in there at this time.
We've
Yeah, but
seen
I
a
mean,
lot of
like-
montages with him.
Like he was the guy. I guess not rising stars, but he was at his like nadir. I guess at this point, like he was. If you could get him in a
This
movie,
was
people would
peak
go.
Van
People are
Damme
gonna see
era,
it, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of chain gang? Just one hand? You fucking incompetent people putting this together.
This movie in chains just not doing it well.
Yeah.
So
Fake
again,
fight. Fake fight harder.
they're not even in a street. This movie's dumb.
As much as I like the look of the camo on the AN guys, I'm like, what are they trying to blend in with? The
That-
ocean?
Yeah.
No, that is urban camo.
That
Urban
much
ca-
blue?
Urban
It's in
camo
case-
is very blue.
It's in case they're fighting at a ball pit at a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
No, I have asked that question of Navy people before though, as to why their camouflage is blue, because I don't know when the last time a boarding action was taken place against the U.S. Navy.
The Somalian pirates invading Navy cruisers.
Because I mean, you'd think that like they'd be like, okay, if anyone falls overboard, we want to see them.
Yeah,
not
like fluorescent
disguise
yellow.
them as the color of the ocean.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, then again, you have like all the Bison troopers are on like red and brown-ish camo, which I'm like, oh, they're the evil people. They're wearing red. The good people are wearing blue.
The blue one's fighting the red one.
You have a very Team Fortress 2 outlook.
Yeah. Have a little Rooster Teeth plug here for the Red versus Blue. Great series.
I've heard great things about that, but I've never actually watched any of it other than maybe a
It's
clip or two.
Oh, it's
Got
hilarious.
some genuinely hilarious stuff in it, man.
spider.
So Street Fighter 2, arguably the most influential, famous, successful fighting game ever.
Right.
You did the three of you all grow up playing Street Fighter?
Yes.
I didn't have a video game system at that age, but my best friend's little brother did, and I would go over to her house and ditch her and play Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
I
with
knew
her
I liked you
brother
for a reason.
for hours at a time.
This is a great fake out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pow, pow, pew, 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 pew. Jean Claude Van Damme should do like a jumping splits in the air and like kick someone out of the truck.
Yeah, I don't think he does the splits in this
He
movie.
doesn't.
It must be the only movie where that was a very sinister
you know,
look from Ken.
Actually,
Yeah.
despite like the extended fight scene that he's in, like he doesn't do any of the signature
Van Damme
Van Damme
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. And now we're gonna have Chun-Li throw the most precariously placed tracking device ever.
Yeah.
I really don't love Chun-Li in this movie.
I
I want to love her.
Aha,
think
boxers.
she's. There's one spot towards the end of the movie where they kind of like let her be a good character, but yeah, she's just suppressed really hard in this story, which is kind of a bummer.
More
Yeah.
Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
apologize
was
for any
I was
coughing
much
if it's
more of a
picked
Mortal
up.
Kombat guy growing because that's what my friends had. My friends all had Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
2 and 3 and Trilogy for the N64, so that's what I grew up playing.
I actually started playing fighting games because I wanted to play Sonic on his Sega, and he would let me play Sonic, but only if I was like player 2 in all the fighting games with him. And that was how I got into them.
No, that's funny.
Elephants.
Oh, pants.
Yeah.
Let's shoot him and take pictures with him.
Bison.
Who's this fucking old guy here?
I
What's
like
your
to,
role?
It's the Bison Architect.
I like to think that Bison took his inspiration here from the pyramids of Giza, which on one side is endless desert,
And on the other side
and the other
is
side
fucking
is
Metropolis.
literally the city of Giza on a freeway.
Yep. The model of Bisonopolis looks like it's out of RoboCop whenever they're showing like Delta City, the
Yeah.
city of the future. And here we have our very standard 90s giant set with several TVs.
Yes. Aren't you glad that we've gone past the era upon which if you wanted a giant TV, you just made it up of little TVs?
Smaller TVs.
And it's interesting that you guys are commenting on this. I'm pretty sure that in some of the shots later in the movie, the many smaller TVs aren't. I think that it's one large projected image, and they took like cardboard to make it look like smaller TVs. That's my hypothesis. Let's take a closer look later.
Now that you're saying that,
Okay.
I remember there being a screen not split up like that later, but I didn't connect that it's the same.
There's some genuinely funny moments here in this movie, and one
Yeah.
was right there where he's like, when DJ tells him congratulations for Guile dying, he's
Yeah.
like, contrarily, I mourn.
Yeah.
DJ's like,
Okay.
okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, yeah. This movie actually has some funny parts in it. Like,
Yeah.
actually.
Everyone's just acting around the space that Raúl occupies.
Yeah.
People are just like, nope, I'm out of the get
Yep.
out of
Give
his
me
way.
out of the
He's
frame.
acting. Oh, it's so good. He got nominated for a Saturn Award
Yeah.
for this role.
That's great. There's a hilariously hammy transition from him later in the movie, and I'll point it out when it gets there.
Yeah, Act 3. Oh, the gloves are off.
Chew the scenery, chew the scenery.
Pax by Sonica.
I think one of my favorite like bad movie tropes is the villain just naming
Monologuing?
everything after themselves.
yeah.
Well, that too, but
Yes.
Bisonopolis, Pax Bisonica. There's just something charming about it.
It's very Saturday morning cartoonish.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
So
Why are there
originally,
hero-sized
this
ducks?
movie got an R rating, so they had to cut back on a lot of the blood and whatnot.
What?
Then it got a G rating, which was like the kiss of death for movies at that
they
point,
added
because
a
like
curse word,
no
didn't they?
teenager would go see a G movie. So they're like, okay, we'll put some swears in it.
That's what-
I also like that from Zangief. It's just that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of van this is because it's awesome.
Yeah. Should we get a GBBV van?
Yes.
Yes, we
Can we
should.
produce a food truck out of that?
Yes, James, you and Katie had that idea for the Hawaiian food truck.
Yep. It'll work.
Do it. Something
So-
that's done rarely but well in this movie is the bromance with Balrog and Honda.
Yeah. I feel like these are two characters that they're like, just throw them in as part of Chun-Li's crew. That could have just been like random news crew people. But I do like what they bring to the movie.
Yeah.
Thanks, T-Hawk. That's your lines for the day.
That's a pretty early bro.
Yeah.
Like 94.
For
is-
94? Yeah. So here we have, E Honda, famous sumo of the Street Fighter series.
Yep.
Japanese, but in this instance, Hawaiian.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about that? Because generally they try to keep the races what they were in the games in this, but I think E Honda's the big standout.
So I thought we talked about this.
This buddy comedy bit made me really happy.
Yeah.
He's in the game, he's from Japan, but I don't know if like his mother or somebody is from Hawaii or
thought
something.
there was
I
a
think
Hawaii
that's Ready
connection.
to Rumble you're thinking of.
I'm not sure, but
I thought the same thing, but I could be completely
anytime
wrong.
you can get some more broader representation in a movie, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So.
Sneaking.
This is a very interesting spy outfit she has.
Stupid hat.
Yeah, mostly it's the hat thing. It's like, must
I
maintain
don't know if she
that it is
understands that she
Ming-Na.
has black hair, so the black hood is not really.
And her like kitty cat hands right there.
Oh, she's the climbing things.
No, like when she landed, she like
She's
she's
sprawled like a cat.
She's like ha.
Yeah.
Like little kitty cat hands.
Doo-doo.
I'm sure at the time that was like, oh my gosh, look at that little portable tracker thing she has. But now it's like, that is the size of 3 of my graphing calculators from high school.
Yeah, which all still strangely cost $200.
Oh, that's a racket if there ever was one.
Oh yeah,
Technically, that means they're cheaper.
graphing calculators.
Technically, if they were costing,
technically yes,
Technically, yes.
Technically, but still absurdly.
Still
yes,
absurd.
yes, exactly.
Those things should be like $5.
For those of you from Texas Instruments who are listening to this podcast, get your
Yeah.
shit together.
You jerks. God. Actually, out of the general population, you probably have a better chance of having Texas Instrument.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
probably fair.
Yep.
You really
Okay.
do work for Texas Instruments.
Hit us up.
Contact
Give us some
us.
free TI-89 titaniums.
I actually do work frequently with people from TI. I should heckle them more. You hear that, guys? I'm
Yeah.
coming for you. So,
We yell into the void, and in the void are the people of Texas Instruments.
question.
Zombies tracking the truck.
Question. Why is he still in the body
I
bag?
am so
It's
confused
been like,
about
what?
this.
He's taking a nap.
12 hours?
He's
Thinking
taking a
that
nap.
he's dead.
He takes his role very seriously.
But, like, really, guys? Why is he in the morgue still?
The only thing that makes sense to me is that they knew she managed to put a tracker on the thing, and he was waiting for her to show up. That's the only
Fair.
thing that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
In that case,
You
it's
give that
still a
this
practical
movie that much
joke.
credit, though.
Because
Yeah.
you could leave the tracker in the morgue and not have him laying there being bored for 10 fucking hours.
But it's awesome
Also,
at that point,
why is
right?
the tracker in the morgue?
It's awesome at that point that he was just like, you know what I want to do? I'm going to screw with this lady.
I'm
Yep.
gonna screw-
I hate journalists so much, I'm going to fake that I'm dead laying next to the tracker, so she'll be confused. That's my Jean Claude Van
I
Damme.
like-
So
He kind of like sensually touches T-Hawk there.
Right.
When T-Hawk's
A
trying to
little
grab
bit.
her. He's like,
they're bros. They're
No.
they're army bros.
no T.
show you the power
it's
of the
okay.
Also,
We're
weird thing to
saving
notice,
the world.
This
T.
is the second time today that I wish we'd had video.
T-Hawk has Eric Trump hair, unfortunately.
Yeah, he
He
looks like a
does.
Trump.
No. It's Don Trump Jr.
He actually looks a little like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
That's
Also-
a good shout.
Thank you. Jean Claude Van Damme has a clear bump on his forehead for most of this movie.
Yeah, I've wondered about that. Also, T-Hawk has a varying degrees of bandage on his head.
He had one of those IKEA coffee tables that had 2 steps to it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't sue us.
I recently saw this post online that this woman set up a Tinder account to find someone to go pick up a couch for her because the couch was like $150 shipping, and the entire Tinder profile was like, "I'm looking for someone to help me pick up a couch from IKEA," and like must drive a truck or whatnot. So and then she just posted screenshots of people like talking to her, despite the profile saying, "Need someone to pick up couch with me." Need a truck.
To be
Like, "You
fair,
got a
I don't
truck?"
think
And
men
it was like,
read
"No."
most of those.
Oh no, guys are morons. Are you kidding me? I love this idea of just a completely open air, just like black flea market.
The black market
Yes.
is actually a market.
Yeah.
I also would argue that most men probably can't read.
This is also true.
Jesus.
It
Christ.
says Capcom on the top of
It
that.
does, yeah, I didn't notice
jug.
that until yesterday. Yep.
I'm glad that it was really difficult for them to infiltrate this camp.
Yep.
Yep. So we've got Honda and Balrog doing some weird, just entertainment for Bison and Sagat.
Yep.
They just stuffed Chun-Li into a barrel. It's on Honda's chest, who's laying on the ground.
There's a random bear statue and a barbell.
That's just Zangief.
Yeah, it's for
Yeah.
Zangief. You know those you always see it in the kung fu movies. It's like the wooden not a mannequin, but like the wooden post with all the pegs.
Oh
sticking
yeah,
out of it.
the
That they're
sparring
always like
thing.
punching and kicking. It's really cool. Well, Zangief does that, but with a giant bear statue. He's just all like, just jumping around, putting it in the headlocks
He
and
does
shit.
his spinning lariat thing.
So
Smack, smack.
in front of Ken and Ryu, is that a bowl of mushrooms when they cut back to it?
Like the fun kind, or just like the salad kind?
The
I don't know.
shiitake kind, probably. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not up to
Too
date on my
worried.
Shadaloo cuisine.
That's weird.
Ugh, that was-
for DJ.
Did not
Yeah,
need
don't
that
s-
cut.
don't do
Skis
that.
monster.
Yeah.
To business. Mm.
Vegas looks like the skis.
Hey,
Hey,
We
you
live there.
jerks.
be nice to Detroit.
I don't know. Is there a Detroit section at the Epcot at Disneyland? You can get Cônes and Fago
Yeah.
and LaCroix or Lacroix, if we're going by
Croix.
how the Quebecois would say it.
I don't think the Quebecois say it that way. Although I didn't see any LaCroix when I was there.
Yeah.
That little cut there of him talking about their sensei is kind of a cool, deep cut for
Yeah.
anyone who knows the games.
Yeah, and even if you don't know
Although
the
as
games,
soon as I look at them, I don't believe it.
yeah, and even if you don't know the games, that kind of implies a little bit more backstory about why they can fight at all.
I'd like 15 more shots of Vega's arms with that gun, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Vega's like way too ripped for this movie for how little this movie he's in.
Yeah.
Oh look, some street fighting
I'm
is
not
happening in the background
complaining.
over there,
Nice. Ah,
Hey.
street fight.
or Black Market Bazaar fighting.
Dude, Ken's kind of a sleazebag too in this movie.
Yeah, he is in the game though too. Like they're always talking about him like getting in cars with women and stuff.
Is this before or after he has the time travel where he has to beat up the car?
So
He gets into a car with women. The women then turn him down, and then he destroys the car in 60 seconds.
Out of fury.
Out of fury, yeah.
Stupid car.
if anyone is interested, the animated Street Fighter 2 movie is actually very good.
Oh, it's
I've
so
heard
good.
It is
good
Ryan.
things
good.
about that.
Oh, it's so good. The Street Fighter Alpha movie is also pretty good, but not as good. And then the Alpha movie that came after that was bad.
Meanwhile, the follow-up to this with Chun-Li is terrible.
I actually haven't seen that with Kristen Crook or
It's
whatever.
not good.
It looks It's got the Neil.
I want those. I want that prop. I want.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Ryan, you're gonna make us some of those.
Maybe I can figure this out, you guys. I can task this.
Again, with the currency is also
$5
Bison
British
dollars.
pounds. Yeah.
Yes.
Just the complete mustache twirling, just exposition. Well, not exposition, but just monologue.
Yeah.
There is ridiculous.
So good.
After I kidnapped the Queen of England.
I can only imagine he sends Zangief and DJ to go kidnap the queen.
That I would watch that movie because I think Zangief would be super nice to the old lady the whole time.
Yeah, he would.
We will bring your crumpets with us.
Just like walking her across the street and everything.
Suplexes a double-decker bus.
Yeah. Let's just get this exposition out of the way as quickly as we can.
Yes. I'm so happy that she just grabs his throat after being a jerk.
Yeah.
She grabs him, locks eyes with him. She's all, "Be a man." So what year was Mulan then? It was after this,
It was
right?
97, 98?
Yeah, I think it was after this.
See, Vega always has a claw ready to
Always.
go.
Yep. It's a bunch of forks. Just stretches out a fork.
It was in a sheath and everything.
I have difficulty watching Ryu be in a suit.
He looks like a
Hey,
member
the
of the
bear's
Yakuza with how many buttons he has undone on that
does.
shirt.
Ken's tie and shirt and jacket don't match in any way,
Not
shape,
at
or
No.
form.
No, they
Fucking
don't.
slob.
There's not 1 minute in this movie when Ken doesn't have his shirt like halfway open, or Ryu doesn't have his shirt like halfway open.
No, that's what women are throwing the signs away for Vega.
Yeah.
Listen, Vega's arms, 100% better than Ryu's.
Oh, his arms are better than most people. His arms maybe better than Jean Claude Van Damme in this movie. I would need to do a
In
side
this
by side.
movie?
Yeah,
Could be.
that's interesting.
Actually, no, I take that back because
Assertion.
later on in the movie, I distinctly remember thinking he looked kind of small, and then they like did
He
a
does the
close-up
patriotic
shot
flex.
with his gun, and I was like, "Yep."
Whoa!
A little radar.
Yeah.
The 5-inch liquid crystal display.
Yeah.
Zangief's face.
Yep.
I just her characterization bugs me so much.
She left her hair down like in her winning victory. Or her
She looks
her
like an
victory
Herbal
poses
Essences
or two.
commercial right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That actress, though, Bing Wen, she's actually a pretty big nerd, which is kind of fun.
Yep.
What? This is another one of the great jokes in a moment here,
Yep.
courtesy of Zangief.
In the shadow.
Change the channel, which is legitimately hilarious.
His facial expression is great.
Run away from the slow-moving car.
And I can't help but wonder if this version of Zangief influenced heavily the one that shows up in Wreck-It Ralph, right?
Yeah.
Like in the support group scene.
Yeah.
What an incredibly ineffective bomb, too.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
4 things are on fire. Enhance.
Zoom
Enhance.
This is some
Yes.
very advanced satellite photography for 1994.
Right.
So, of course, one of the well-known things about Street Fighter is Balrog, Sagat, or excuse me, Balrog, Bison, and Vega names were all switched from the Japanese to the
Because
American
they were-
one because they were afraid of Mike Tyson suing because of M. Bison,
Right.
who's what the name's based off of.
They also
Balrog.
didn't think that Vega was like a suitably like antagonistic enough name for like the big bad boss.
Yeah. So, but
But
because of that,
mostly it was Mike Tyson.
is that Weird Al in the background?
What? Like
The guy with like the
yeah.
it was like Weird Al a little bit, but because of the name switch, they sometimes just refer to the characters as Boxer, Claw, and Dictator. Not so there's
Right.
so there's no disconnect between people from Japan and the U.S.
Right.
They're right there; they can hear you.
We can hear you, you know.
Yeah.
Well, time to turn up the creepiness.
Yeah.
That lip lick was unnecessary.
Man, her hair's really long. I love that Zangief's like, yeah, welcome to the fucking club.
Yeah.
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 I will call you the machine. She's got some gross spit.
Yeah.
Ken's all,
Very
hey, you
Yeah,
got
but
chunky.
Ken acts like he's like that's
He's
nothing
used
new
to it. It's
for
like, oh
him.
well, yeah, that happens.
you got a non-gross spot on my suit.
So, what do you guys think of this Saison de Cônes? The
It's-
games you blasted through yours a while ago.
Yeah, it's I like it a lot. I like it now that it's I poured it and started drinking it right away, and it was a little too
Carbonated?
carbonated for me. But now that it's been kind of settling, I think it's a lot better. Good
Definitely.
bright citrusy character here.
It's got it's I mean the that Belgian yeast flavor. I thought it was supposed to be a little more farmhousey. I don't know where I got that impression from because it's really not. It tastes like
not
a
really
straight
in
up
there.
saison.
Yeah.
But you get that like Belgian yeast, but it kind of finishes with the orange and it gives it almost a little bitterness at the end that I kind of like.
Games?
I liked it from start to finish. I thought it was really good. It's one of the better saisons I've had. Saisons can fall flat for me.
Yes. Saisons are one of those styles where a lot of them taste the same.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do anything in particular. It's kind of just like, I'm a beer.
Here's
I'm
a
here.
light beer with a Belgian yeast flavor.
Yeah, exactly. So
I feel like they're really complemented by what else is in the beer.
Yes.
The orange tea that this one has is very delicious.
Yes, it's great.
So we've all been to some new brewery recently, from travels or otherwise. James and Ryan, you recently were in. Wait, we'll take a stop for this. I like this bit of physical comedy here with E Honda, and the little like luau-y music in the background. But
That's just the frustrated torturer.
yeah, just like the little like just
The
picking his
toothpick.
teeth. breaks the rod.
Yeah.
But so yeah, James and Ryan, you guys were in Traverse City 2 weekends ago. You guys stop at any good breweries?
Last
Did anything
weekend.
good?
Yeah. We can talk about that, but I want to make sure to stop to catch a joke that I had missed on several viewings of this movie up until yesterday. It'll be in a minute here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been up to Traverse City a couple times past few years, every year. This year we went to Hop Lot and Right Brain and Acoustic.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Acoustic yet.
Oh, Acoustic is worth your time.
I haven't. The last time I was in Traverse City, we did that beer kayak tour, which was fantastic. Highly recommend. But there's like
Here it is,
three
here it
new
is.
ones since then.
Give me a hand.
Yeah,
We've only
give me
been in
a
jail
hand,
2 hours,
next
maybe
month.
next month.
Yeah.
But it's good though. Like the bromance is real in this scene.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steph. I cut you off.
No, I think I was finished.
Good talk.
Several new breweries since the last time I was there.
Yeah.
They don't wash clothes in Bison's lair. They just incinerate them.
I do like all the Bison propaganda posters.
They're
everywhere.
Yeah,
I like
those-
the way that they used this as an excuse to like put them in their costumes.
Yeah, that is a good piece of narrative thing of how to get them into their gis.
right. Like the uniforms, not the annoying birds.
No. James, anything of note when you guys were up there?
And Right Brain?
Right Brain or any places?
Ryan, do you have stuff that you want to talk about?
Sure. I've been to all these places before. As far as beer, nothing was new for me. I love Hop Lot. The venue is great. They are currently expanding their kitchen and just their beer garden outside. But when we went this year, the tap list was really small.
Yeah.
Which was kind of disappointing versus when I was there last. But
I think we caught them right before they tapped a bunch of stuff for the weekend.
They had a pretty big event over the weekend, and we went before. But their Smash Face Pumpkin Ale or whatever was actually pretty good.
I like the pumpkin beer.
Yes.
I like that beer.
Which was surprising.
Please note that James actually liked a pumpkin beer.
I hate pumpkin beer.
Yeah,
You
he
didn't
made
like
that-
Warlock?
Yeah.
Not even the 4-year aged Warlock we had last time we had movie night here?
That was good.
It
But,
just tasted like an oatmeal cream pie. That was amazing.
That was really good. But if in order for me to like a style of beer, it has to wait 4 years, I think I probably could just safely say I don't like that
Fair
style
enough.
of beer.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No, usual stuff. So Hop Lot was great. The food was pretty good. We went to Right Brain, which I think was the standout as far as beer.
Yeah.
That was the standout this trip.
Yep.
Their building is really cool. They have a lot of cool beers. I think you bought a bottle of something to bring back.
I bought 2 Brains.
Right, and that's
which
like
is-
some sort of sour and like port barrels or something.
Yeah, sour aged port barrels.
Yeah, that was real good.
And then I also had a beer there that reminded me a whole lot of a lot of the fun stuff that Dragon Mead would do. So I had something called Spear Beer.
Ah, yes.
Which
Oh,
was
it's the
their,
asparagus one.
Right
Yeah.
Brain. I appreciate Right Brain because they do so much like weird gimmicky shit.
Yeah.
But they also make really good beers.
Yeah.
So it's like playful and like fun that they make these weird beers and not just gimmicky.
Yeah.
And that was what I actually liked about that Spear Beer is that it was just genuinely good.
Yeah,
it was just a light beer that also tasted like
A
asparagus.
little bit like asparagus.
And
It
was
wasn't gross.
really
Like
good.
actually, you guys, I promise, it wasn't gross.
It wasn't
was
gross
really
at all. It tasted like grilled asparagus, and then it was like beer, grilled asparagus, and then beer again.
I-
So I was like, oh,
That's-
cool. This is like eating
that's cool.
asparagus and drinking beer.
Have you guys had any other savory beers? Like Max talks a lot about the pasty beer.
Yeah. Last year at the UP Beer Fest, Cellarman's made a pasty beer,
Huh.
which
I would
they
love
served
to
with
try that.
ketchup around the rim.
Oh my.
And
But-
it had this like beefy flavor to it, which was commented by the ketchup.
I also had a it was called Bean Soup. It was from Brewery Becker, and it tasted like straight up pizza goldfish, like that. I mean,
Wow.
that's
Oh,
that's
very
a
specific
unique.
taste.
Yes,
Yeah.
I tasted it, and I haven't had pizza goldfish in 10 years, but I tasted that pizza goldfish, but it was delicious. Like we got a growler of it.
All right. Yeah. I think I'm going to push more beer talk to the end of the movie. I think we're covering a lot of the film here.
Yeah,
So-
well, we covered the rousing
Where's my
speech.
shoe?
My shoe! Yeah, the rousing speech where Guile's like, oh, no, it's time to go home
Yeah.
because we cannot...
Yeah, they told me to stop. They're going to pay up to Bison, but I don't want to. Let's kick his ass.
Where nobody is like, hey, wait, aren't you dead?
Right.
Yeah. They were all in on it.
Everybody has just very easily accepted the fact that
Yeah.
we do in fact have a zombie.
I like how Guile's name is on his boat.
It's like a jet.
These instructions. Oh, no.
I want to think that was a gag that just accidentally just dropped
Right.
out.
Why doesn't anyone's suit fit in this movie? Why are they all
It's the
swimming
90s.
in their clothes?
That's how they fit their suits.
Ugh.
Yeah. I think actually with like names on boats and planes, that's pretty baller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is
That
She's still
boat's
got her
on loan
shoe.
from
Good
Q
joke.
Branch.
Oh, she has both shoes now. Life is fine. So what they don't show you here in these shots is that the boat doesn't actually have a motor. It's just coked up JCVD just kicking the water really fast.
They wanted to use they wanted this to be an airstrike, but there was like legitimate like military things going on in the area, and they were like, "No, you can't fly."
Yeah,
planes."
they wouldn't give him the fly permit.
Nah, we don't want to get bombed.
You
This
know,
is ridiculous.
We don't actually want
I
our
love
actors
that
to die.
painting. I would get a print of that and hang it in my living room.
Wait, you said that this was mostly filmed in Australia, right?
Australia and Thailand.
In Thailand, yeah.
Thailand,
That's where Jean Claude Van Damme said that he showed Kylie Minogue his Thailand.
Oh wow.
This is just weird.
This is a very
Bison
awkward.
undressing slowly.
I like how he has the hat rack, which has all of his alternate costume colors.
Yeah.
on it. Clang.
Just unhook little Bison here. That's D Bison down there, by the way.
His smoky jacket hat comes on now,
Yep.
which is more velvety than the other hats.
Yep.
Now we're on to Hefner Bison.
From what I've heard about this movie,
Brian. Yes.
Thank you.
from what I've heard about this movie, when he was like in between takes or went on set, that Raúl Juliá was just walking around in like a velvet robe.
As he should be.
Yes.
If there's anybody who I think should like just exist in a velvet robe,
It's him.
Yeah. Today I learned that he played Dracula on the stage production of Dracula in the 70s.
I bet that was incredible.
I would have loved to see
So
that.
this
Can
is one of the
can you imagine him as Dracula?
Yes.
Yep.
One of the movie's most insanely cheesy lines is coming up right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm upset at him for making all of that. But for me, it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
What?
So, yeah. I am upset at him for making all of that cocktail and then only pouring like a third of a glass for both of them, and clearly having enough to give them full drinks.
No, it's so we can go back for seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, this is for the synchronized punch.
Yep.
I'm glad that they showed us that guy's taint. But
Yep. His camo taint. This movie has
That
a
looks
ban on
uncomfortable.
sleeves, I feel like, sometimes.
you know
How
what?
sleeves?
If I had these arms, I would
Yeah.
also have a ban on sleeves.
It's just like Edna Mode from The Incredibles. No sleeves! It's a weird take with the rat, but okay.
Those are some very 90s shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to yell loudly about it so as to not attract any attention.
What a terrifying chandelier!
If by terrifying you mean awesome, then yes.
his place is just filled with late 2000s Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
I
like that
hate this exposition so much.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Bison
Tom
Von
Wayne
Gacy.
Oh, he's
Ryan, do you have a remote that also does all these things? Because of all of my friends, I feel like you would have a remote that does all these things.
Maybe.
Yep.
I have an awful lot of remotes with an awful lot of buttons.
I think the thing that bothers me the most is that she's talking about how she did all of these things out of sheer hatred for him in the most like seductive like she keeps doing like eyebrow raises and like let me turn seductively to the side.
Giving him the come hither stare.
Yes.
While talking about how she wants him dead. Do you like me now? The lip bite there. This is a funny
Yeah.
little just talking through the teeth.
And he's so good that it makes her look so bad.
Yeah, like against anyone else, like her little like performance there would have been fine,
It
I
might
think.
not
But
be so
against
terrible.
him, it just
Yeah.
like his little swizzle sticks with the Bison logo on top.
Bison is very into branding.
He
Yeah,
is.
as we'll see many times in this movie. It's just the utter ego of this guy here.
Yeah.
You found me out.
I like that they found a way to put her in her costume as well,
Yeah.
even though it's not the blue.
Or did you?
Like how he's legitimately like surprised by it too.
Yeah, and she just quickly and handily beats the crap
And
out
then
of
for
him.
like 10 seconds, she gets to be badass Chun-Li.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she's foiled by a quarter second of...
Aha!
Ha! All right, so in a few seconds,
Oh, gosh.
we'll get the cut from Bison's face here.
Yep.
Huh? This is fine.
Yep.
This is fine, right? These are happy gases.
I like that he has a room that actually does this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems like he's the kind of guy who would. Like
His face
his
right
facial
there.
expressions are just they get better and better.
Like,
Like,
that's,
ooh, you're
So
falling
good.
down.
that's a face not of like, ooh, it's,
Here's the cut right
Yeah,
here
it-
with the fire right to his face.
yeah. His ooh face there is like, it actually worked! It worked!
It really worked.
I told them it would work and
What?
no one believed me!
It was totally worth it.
Yeah. I thought this boat, like 9-year-old me, thought this boat was the coolest thing in the entire world.
I kept thinking it, like, I was like, hey, is this, what is the movie? Just Thunder in Paradise with Hulk Hogan? Anyone watch that show? Where he has
Nope.
this super high-tech boat and he fights crime.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a show that exists in real life, by the way.
So wait, it's not just Nightboat from Simpsons.
It's pretty much that, but with Hulk
There's
Hogan.
always a fjord or a tributary.
It's the boat from The Tick.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta watch the
I'm a
rest
boat
of that show.
that also identifies as a male. or-
Yeah.
So what's coming up is pretty much described as a very shitty apocalypse now.
Yeah. That helmet doesn't fit her at all.
So did they go stealth mode yet?
No.
No.
Okay, yeah. They go stealth mode and put the visors down for about 4 seconds and then put the visors back up.
Is that a Betamax tape you put in there?
God, I want cocaine.
He's like, what's wrong with me sexually harassing this woman?
Right.
Also, according to that...
Multipass.
According to his bars, Blanca was a 3-star general.
Huh.
Eh.
Or his epaulets, I should say.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's Wario on guard duty.
Yeah.
He also looks like Rufus for those who have played Street
I
Fighter 4.
understand, like, I don't really understand the discoloration, but, like, all right, I can buy that it's a byproduct of the chemicals, and I get the muscles, but where he grew
The hair?
fangs.
Why is he part plant? Maybe. Can he photosynthesize?
I'm just not convinced by the fangs.
Yeah.
I like to think that guy's reading the, like, Bison-approved pornography.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, his branded in there. Like, she's got little Bison pasties on
Yeah.
it.
Woman straddling a border or something
Right.
like that.
Time for some good science.
Yep.
Beep, boop.
The icon pointer being the Bison logo
Yeah.
is just
ridiculous.
wonderful.
But, I mean,
Again, I love the
touchscreen
brand.
keyboards. Interesting.
Aw.
Why does this helmet need screens on the outside?
So that we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, pleasant things.
Mm.
It's
They-
like...
the fact that they had to get permission to use the MLK footage. Oh boy.
I like that it took this entire time to get to 50%, but it went from 50 to 62 in, like, the 7 seconds of the Martin Luther King speech.
It's
Thank
a,
you,
it's a
Stephanie. I was thinking
non-linear
the
progression.
exact same thing, and also it's a very powerful speech. It fills up.
Apparently.
Or it's just the way that, like, Apple and Microsoft think progress bars work.
No one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows. Yeah. It just goes to 99% in 4 minutes, and
Yeah.
it takes that last hour to get that last 1%.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that Ming-Na Wen is marching around with clenched fists.
It's true. There's a some character profile on her that says Chun-Li's training regimen is like 7,000 squats a day, and she bench presses 150 kilograms.
Whoa.
Which
What?
that's over 300.
That's great.
I don't know a lot of dudes that can bench press in the range of 150 kilograms. Like
That's
that's I can't even bench
Here it
press
is, visors.
150 pounds.
Yep.
And action.
And 7,000
squats a day would explain those quads.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And done with visors.
Yep.
Why? No one knows.
If they put the visors down so their faces wouldn't disappear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some not totally terrible stealth effects, I guess.
No.
If you're in stealth mode, why do you have to blow up the radar?
Because this isn't how radars work.
Seems like it would be a very easy way to put yourself right out of stealth mode.
So how stealth mode works in this movie is when they put the cameras on in a couple seconds, they can't see the boat. So it doesn't make it radar invisible, it just makes it naked eye invisible.
Visible.
So they
like
have to
spectrum.
see, you can't see
But
the
you
boat.
can see the wake!
Oh, it's just normal Wake out of nowhere. Got Wake shooting bullets.
Yep.
There's clearly nothing there to destroy.
Yep. Uh-oh.
I like that everyone is just hypnotized by Bison's screens. Like everyone. The prisoners, they're all watching.
Well, they've never seen
Totally
so many
protocol.
monitors in one area.
Yeah.
Making one giant picture.
Yeah, who would have guessed they would have noticed the Gatling gun floating through the air?
Yeah. Wouldn't it have just been easier to use a very small submarine?
Yeah.
I like it's just,
Where's Elon Musk when you need him?
Oh, God. Guile's a pedophile.
Wow. Deep cut.
Yep.
That handle says Alerto.
He's got, Batcave labeling.
Yeah. Well, that looks like it would cut a mountain in half.
Yep.
Yeah, those guns look like they belong on a Space Marine.
Yeah.
Needs pauldrons.
Shit.
I wonder who's coming. Let's check the side of the ship.
Does this have a direct channel to each other?
Like all
Pretty
good
much.
villains.
Yeah. Like that screen that Guile was just on, I think that's a rear projected, just one large screen, and they took like black construction paper to make it look like smaller
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's too regular. That. Yeah. You didn't see that.
That's great. That face.
When he curls his bottom lip in,
Yeah.
that makes
So
him
good.
So sinister.
Beep boop.
He has the same device as that operates his little floaty thing as they do in Thor Ragnarok to operate the neck zappy things.
Oh yeah.
Not doing.
I wonder
get
if his chair plays. It's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
I would think so. Imagine
Probably.
the same aesthetic.
Yeah, pretty much.
He just lied. I'm not going to use.
Oh my
the
gosh,
matches.
is what's Jeff Goldblum's character's name? The
Grandmaster.
Is the Grandmaster just Space Bison?
Space Bison.
A little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Flap. This
Oh god.
is ridiculous. For as silly as this movie is, nothing is sillier than the stupid fucking
Street
arcade
Fighter
buttons.
arcade panel.
Yeah.
It's just having Bison flail randomly and press buttons.
Hey, it's like me. It's like me with you. We were playing Street Fighter before we started recording today. Grapple more, Zangief. Grapple more.
What's with the sound effects here?
Those mines, as they're designed, are magnetically activated. Just by the way.
People don't know that.
Pew pew pew.
No,
All right, fuck it.
Radar lock with the mines? Is that what they're
There's radars on those mines. Well, as we determined, the stealth mode, which was compromised, is a visual only.
It hasn't been 30 seconds. Also, that boat was apparently made of wood.
Yep.
Get it?
No.
Get it? Because the movie's based on
I feel like
gang.
he writes his own one-liners. So, Raúl's kids were a big fan of Street Fighter, so he did this movie to, like, do something for his kids.
Which is awesome.
That is cool.
That's great.
That's really cool.
Also, that's how M. Night Shyamalan got involved with The Last Airbender.
Really?
His kids liked it.
I wish they didn't.
I haven't seen it, actually.
It's not very good. Well, let me put it this way: for a cartoon series, which is not even our cartoon series, for a TV series, which is arguably one of the top 25 series that have been made in the last 10 years.
Yeah, just really quick. I'm sorry to pause you, but I just happened to be walking through Best Buy with a coworker, and he saw the entire series on Blu-ray, and it was on sale, and he went, "Oh my fucking god!" and bought it immediately. So it's so good.
It is astonishingly good. In every way that you could imagine. For that to be the movie that came out from it is just so disappointing.
That's what I've heard mostly. Yeah. But oh well, what you gonna do?
I'll tell you what's terrible is this Blanca special effects here. You saw it.
It's not
great.
great.
His 5-head?
It's like Lou Ferrigno's Hulk and Carrot Top head.
Oh God!
I understand that this was 1994, but show me the guy from the beginning of the movie back to back with this guy and tell me that's 100% muscle increase.
Yeah. It's just the same guy but green.
100% forehead increase.
No.
Yeah. I'd believe that.
And fangs.
Yeah. And hair.
This guy. You know how hot it has to be with that stuff on?
Oh, he's dying for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, kill it anyway.
No
Shoot
tough.
So
Not worth it.
I don't understand howitzer. Did someone say howitzer? Jungle kicks. The rough kick, not thrust kick.
She actually says thrust kick, but the subtitle picks it up as the rough kick.
So they actually pull a little bit there with her using her legs.
Yeah.
The throw thing.
Yep.
They do a couple interesting pulls from the game.
Yeah.
They're very subtle. They're a lot of the references in this movie. They're like, you're a fan of this, you'll appreciate the nod, but they're not like Hadouken.
Yeah.
And
They
like
deliberately
fireball.
didn't use any of the quote unquote magic.
This is actually pretty funny. That guy's actually credited in the movie as the lonely chef.
And I like the cat. The cat with no tail. So yeah, here we have the T-Hawk. What's with the headband?
Yeah.
Which, that's totally an ADR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Insert Elizabeth Warren joke here, I suppose.
oh.
Different podcast, I know. Did you just elbow him in the ass and he's out?
Gymkhana.
Yep.
He just gave him horrible diarrhea. So
Oh, God.
It's like that one Zangief throw where he just picks you up and slams you down on his knee with your butt.
Right. That's not great.
That one you did to me 7 times.
I did it once.
In the game, not real life, for those who are curious.
He couldn't do that to me in real life.
Okay, no los dos.
No, I would be afraid.
300
Stephanie
pounds.
could probably beat up at least 2 of us here at the same time.
Ugh. Flash kick it. Flash kick the spider.
Just wants to
What's
yell.
taking
I just
you
want him
so
to yell
long?
Sonic Boom at it.
Why wouldn't you secure the rope first?
You think
Yeah,
that would
here,
be
go
logical?
go careening down this death tunnel. We'll figure out the ropes later.
And here we see Guile as a contestant on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah. $20 billion. That's a lot of 1994 money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the screen. Yeah. Uh-huh.
He too will assemble the monkey head first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 3 pieces.
How do you not? One clearly has a bottom.
I will never understand why that's so hard for everyone.
The science computers.
ACM Bison 001.
I love the idea of a banking system that has a very negative sounding beep if you have a zero balance.
Like the please remove your card from the chip reader machines.
Yeah, it's that noise.
It's either wake up because it's 6 a.m. or your credit card has been accepted.
I like that joke. Bye.
Why's it gotta be snakes?
Is it really? Do you really need a flashlight? It's so bright in there.
Well, he's not doing flash kicks, so might as well use a flashlight.
Why? And I guess it's weird that this is just occurring to me, but why does this Bison have the giant bell swinging around in this place?
That's what he's gonna.
Because it's the Southeast Asia. I don't know.
That's how he's gonna kill everybody. He's gonna blow out their eardrum.
Yeah,
The
I guess.
bleed to death.
Seems
Rufus
logical.
/ Wario, you're down.
Because
Ron Jeremy.
if Guile's not going to make sonic booms, then he will.
Yeah.
Please don't hold guns like that.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun,
Or
dun.
flashlights like that.
It kind of looks odd to see him with a gun anyway. Like it's just
Yeah,
kind of
it just-
misplaced.
The flashlight looks like a bottle of shampoo with a light on the end.
That's probably or a phaser.
Hydrofluosilicic. What?
Fluoxylic acid.
That's not a thing.
Grrrg! Oh, that.
That, I mean, really not 100% increase of muscle.
How could you possibly recognize Charlie in that?
Yeah, he smelled him.
He smelled. It's dark.
He's got some pretty decent prosthetics on, let's be honest here.
Willie Guile is a terrible name, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beguile.
Blanca's one of the few characters in Street Fighter who isn't just like a regular dude from a country who uses a certain fighting style.
Right. Just a weird animal man who likes to
From
punch
Brazil,
things. Yeah.
who has lightning powers.
Right.
I thought he was just gonna like euthanize him here.
That's what it
That's what
implies.
he
It's
intended
dark
to
here.
do.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna do that."
That was a very, like, quickly made
Yeah,
decision.
he didn't waste a
too.
lot of
Like,
time with that.
Oh, my friend, I'm so upset. I guess you'll die.
And I will kill you.
This is for that time you accidentally brushed my wife's thigh.
Yeah.
Oh, I could just listen to him read anything.
Yeah.
That just
I would watch this movie if it were just an hour and 40 minutes of him and Jean Claude Van Damme talking back and forth
Right.
to each other.
Like a
that-
W like a
his
WWE
monologuing
promo.
and Van Damme's accent, like with Vega flexing.
Yeah, right.
That's what I want.
I understand and concur.
We'll make that a GIF for you.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Just like Bison going, "Yeah." JCVD flexing patriotically, and then
Right.
Vega just Vega-ing.
Just the absolute
Good.
commitment to this role.
So, when did you guys first see this movie?
I saw it in the theater.
Same.
You saw it in the theater?
I saw
Yeah,
this
of
in-
course.
My dad
Did
took
not
me to
see it in
this.
theaters, but I was young.
It's weird because, Christ, 2 years ago when we started this show, when we were talking about, what's the first bad movie you remember seeing? And I think mine was
Yours
Turtles
was
in
Street
Time.
Fighter, I think.
It was between this and Turtles in Time, and I think I talked about Turtles in Time.
Well, we've done Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure which it is between this and Turtles in Time, because I walked out of the theater with my dad, and I was cool that my dad took me to see this movie, but I was so young when this came out. I was like, well, that was fucking garbage.
I'm imagining just a
This is
smaller
one of those
Ryan,
movies, though, that,
just
like-
as hairy.
Yeah, basically.
Like as a young kid, it was based on a thing that you loved, so you loved it by like.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I've seen that I've been like, this is so bad, but it's based on this thing that I love, so
Right.
I love it by default.
Yeah. I'm so confused. So
Zombie
this
face.
is one of the wonkiest looking special effects coming out here in a moment. So we've
they
got this
have
tube
eyeliner
coming out of
on?
the floor. Maybe,
Vega? Probably.
It looked like eyeliner.
He should. If not,
A
I hope
dramatic
he does.
I
opening.
support Vega and eyeliner.
Everyone,
I
yeah.
do like that. That Sagat is just wearing J. Ferrar clothes from J.C. Penney.
Flash kick.
He slingshots out of the
I
tube.
have a J. Ferrar shirt from JCPenney. I made a joke because it's one letter away from being J. Ferraro.
I talked over you, Ryan. There, sorry.
That's cool, bro.
What were you saying, bud?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think you're talking about the special effects.
slingshotting Jean Claude Van Damme out of the tube. It looks ridiculous.
I like to think
Yes.
that that's not a special effect.
It's just actually just Jean Claude Van
actually
Damme.
Jean
It's
Claude
the
Van
one
Damme could do
time
that.
in this movie that Jean Claude Van Damme does a Jean Claude Van Damme type thing.
And then he goes up
Yeah.
to take cover in front of a wall.
Yes.
I do appreciate the guy bouncing off of the bell.
Bell bounce.
Throw the brick at him. Nope, it's just a knife.
No.
And then he.
Then he falls on it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I wish they would have given a better reaction face to him there of being like, yeah, and then like cutting
I
to
like
the guy
that there's just
falling
a
on
dude
it.
bench pressing. Like,
Yep.
we just
Yeah,
we
like
just set a
72
barbell here.
pounds.
Yeah.
Even I can bench press more than 72 pounds.
Just yeah.
Cammy apparently at some point took her shirt off.
I also like the
She's
fact
very
that
hot.
she
yeah.
had her hair pinned up in a way where it wouldn't get in her way, it wasn't annoying, it wouldn't get caught in anything, and when she goes into battle, she elects to take it down.
Well, we're entering the end of the movie where people have to be how they are in the
Look
video
like
games.
their characters. I understand, but
Like you saw Balrog pulling off his regular shirt for his
Yes.
like basketball
and then later
stuff
on when
underneath.
he just gets boxing gloves out of nowhere,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
where were you hiding those?
Yeah, because when you're fighting,
I
other
love
human beings,
I love this.
just Honda crashing
Honda,
through
yeah,
the wall.
Honda just crushing through the wall.
Yeah. I actually want to see these two guys.
Yeah,
fight.
like I mean, this fight lasts for the next like rest of this movie.
Yeah.
But they just go through the scenes
Right.
or the different sets of like, oh, there they are now.
It's like 30 minutes of paired off character
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of interleaved
He
conflicts.
is wearing eyeliner.
Yep.
He's
Damn, that's a
Without a
pretty
doubt.
man.
He
That
looks
is a
good in
pretty
it.
man. Boats.
Yeah, I
boats,
support it.
Boats.
His
Both-
eyeliner is
there was
better than
way-
Chun-Li's right now.
Yeah.
Who holds an automatic rifle like that?
I don't know. He doesn't know how
The
to hold a
muscles
gun,
from
but
Brussels.
he's
That's who.
Ming-Na Wen is one of the
That's
people in this
not
movie.
how
That
he's
is
meant to
a
be
that is a
fighting.
Honda throw.
Yep.
It is. The falling through the floor is awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually do really like that.
Ow!
Out.
Yeah.
Which is own everybody apparently.
Yep.
Ming-Na Wen very convincingly moves like I expect Chun-Li would move though. Like she's
Yeah.
light on her feet. She's just all over the place.
Her fighting scenes, like, she looks good. It's just every time she opens her mouth.
Gorling.
Yep.
Show me the things. Quick!
I hate Aryan children.
It'd be another. It wouldn't be as funny, but another spot for Zangief to be like, "Quick, change the channel."
Yeah.
Jungle soldiers. That's a lot of blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of extras in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Did they blow up some actual temples? I wonder.
Probably not. So a quick thing in here: all the weapons used by all the Zangief guys are all
Bison guys.
What? All the Bison guys are all Russian or
Yeah, they're all like
Eastern European
AKs.
made, and all of the stuff made by or used by the AN are all NATO weaponry. So
That's
Yep.
kind of what they're going for, right?
I mean, the AK being a superior firearm.
not to an MP. Well, I mean, depends on what you're going for. So
AK versus M16.
All right, analysis on the screen.
Yep.
Everyone look closely. Many TVs or one screen?
I vote one screen.
I think
I'm
it's one
I'm
screen.
doing one screen with the little. I like the DJ, just
DJ.
being like,
It's like-
You'd be
it's
able to
like,
see
well-
the, like, slight fisheye.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it would curve around the edges.
Yeah.
TJ's
Yep.
like, well, bye.
Estimated repair time 18 months.
AT4.
Just,
They could have just left right then.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, he sucks.
Ken, you're terrible. That's why you earned Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Is Ken Masters the Jar Jar Binks of this movie?
He doesn't instill emergency power to Guile, so no.
Yeah, but he's pretty awful.
He is awful. Yeah. He's the Watto.
Hup, 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 hup.
I guess the Bison camouflage does kind of work inside the base,
Right.
considering the lighting.
The two of these two guys just fighting while everything else goes on around them is
It
great.
is
I like
it's
how
perfectly
they fight
great.
like through everybody else's
Yeah.
fight scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Mortal Kombat 6 where when you were fighting, you could go to different areas of the level you were on.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of what's going on here.
Just shoot him. Why wouldn't you be shooting?
Yeah, there's no reason. Unless this
He's got a small knife.
Unless this happened sooner than we were shown, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Just starts deflecting bullets.
Yeah. That shot speaks to the ego of Guile, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Drop your weapon. Blah, 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 blah. It's just- How can you
Again,
possibly hear you?
WWE like interview pieces.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
The purity of unarmed combat.
That's a good line.
Wizard-
I
yeah.
do like that line.
Wizard of Oz.
I also like that he's apparently just standing on the catwalk. Like, if everyone
Yeah.
just
The whole
looked
time.
left,
Yep.
it would've been like, oh, look, there's
Like
Bison.
off screen.
Yeah.
Steph, drink this thing.
Yeah, he does look better in this beginning scene than he did in it at the beginning of the movie.
Van Damme?
No, Raúl.
Julia.
It could be the
RJ.
sequences upon which they actually filmed
Yeah,
these,
like
Yeah.
you were saying beforehand, like they
Yeah.
did the less physical intensive stuff at the end because he just kind of looks a little healthier.
Oh
He
shit! Yeah,
does.
it's so good.
You're right.
I mean, to a point, Bison makes good on his, request to just fight hand to hand.
Yeah.
Mostly at the end here. Bang! America!
Flex patriotically. No, okay. Now we have probably the most racially insensitive scene of the entire movie.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But these two characters are like disgusted with it.
Yeah. But the
The
Godzilla sound effects.
Sound effects are great.
Destroying the little city.
Bisonopolis, excuse you.
Like, the way that they're looking at each other, just like, what
Yeah.
the hell?
What is this? A dictatorship for ants?
Attaboy.
Oh my
I really
God.
appreciate the decision for him to just randomly take his already short sleeve shirt off. Like,
Yeah.
For a
there was
shorter
no need
sleeve
for that
shirt.
except for me to see Jean Claude Van Damme's biceps.
Yeah, but this
Are
is
you
Guile's outfit.
are
in
you
the game,
complaining,
Yeah.
Stephanie?
No,
You're just stating and making an observation.
correct.
Though. All right.
Bomb.
On a rating scale from 0 to 5 splooshes. Bong. At the tone the time will be.
I
Oh.
would think that a modern version of this movie would have less cuts in the fight scenes. It'd
Yeah.
probably be more consistent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the Bourne movies, there's a lot of cuts in that. So I don't.
Yeah, but those movies are 10 years old at this point.
And this year is you are definitely right. And Street Fighter 4 is 10 years old this year.
Oh my
Street
God.
Fighter itself is 30 years old
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
Yep.
Oh, there's his boxing gloves. You're
Boxing
talking about,
glove.
Stephanie.
Yeah. Where did he get those?
The word. Well,
Yeah.
The whirl up like
The
a
whirl
Bugs
up.
Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
yeah. Somehow his punches are now more powerful.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll get some trademark Guile moves in a bit.
That's a guy on Lou right there, isn't it?
That's a DJ move.
It's DJ actually, but we'll get regular. That's Jean Claude Van Damme, the flash
There-
kick,
Yeah.
There it
and then
is.
flash kick too.
Which is just like fighting Guile.
Well, yeah, if it wants to be accurate to the video
Yeah.
game, he has to do 2 flash kicks and then huddle in the corner for the next 90 seconds. Fucking dicks.
That's why you play
Flex! Flex harder!
That's why you
Flex
play with
harder!
kills him with his flexes.
That's actually very impressive, though. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how hard it is to hold a flex like that.
Let's talk about flex, baby.
He's like, oh, well, he's dead.
I
That's
mean,
good.
I don't fault him for thinking he's dead at this point.
I
No.
mean,
Well,
he
no one
did
knows how
see all
electricity
those
works,
very
right?
cartoonish looking lightning strikes coming off of him.
Yep. And he flash kicked him twice.
Yeah. This
Just
is,
half dead, but still with excellent traps.
Mm-hmm.
can we talk about how amazing this drink is again? I know we had it on Silent Hill.
Oh yes,
So good.
we have gone into backup mead / cider. We are now drinking another can of pie and rye. Pie and rye. I like how the Bison cutout has the hat.
Yes.
With the symbol.
Yeah.
And the epaulets on the shoulder.
I appreciate that this movie just doesn't like, guess what? He's alive!
He was
like, there's
supposed
some-
to revive again at the end, but
Oh, boy.
There's a stinger.
because Raúl died, they like cut that part of it as like a tribute to him.
Oh,
boy.
well, there's a stinger. We'll get to that though. But
Cameron Diaz also stands.
This rules.
Yep.
I love this.
Yeah, the payoff on this
Yeah.
gag later.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
So DJ's another character where it's kind of a disappointment because he's a big dude in the game, and he's just this scrawny little man
Yep.
Yeah.
in this movie, as
So-
is Ken.
Let's talk about the plot of this movie. So Street Fighter really doesn't have as intricate of a plot as some other fighting games do or try to do, where it's like, oh, this tournament is to keep the Nether Realm from invading the Earth Realm or whatever like that. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about this plot of this movie of Bison being this warlord who wants to, take over the world? Like, is it okay for what the series is? Or, I mean, I'm not saying is it a good plot. It's not
Right.
a good plot. But for what it is, do you guys think this is good?
I'm trying to remember back. So, a little bit of podcast trivia here. So, we actually have done this movie before.
Yes, this is our episode
Episode
negative
0.
1.
Yeah, right. And I don't remember who was sharing this. It wasn't me, but I guess the plot for this movie was originally just kind of like a generic action flick that had Street Fighter slapped onto it. From what I understand, I
don't know.
I feel like that was from you, Max.
details,
But I might be
Maybe.
wrong.
But I know that it came together like really fast because they had this idea like, oh, we're going to make this movie, and then Capcom was like, we're coming to visit right now, and they
Yeah,
were like,
Capcom was heavily involved with this. Like they were the ones who were pushing more and more characters onto the movie. Because they, like I was saying earlier, they wanted seven, or original script was like 7 characters. Probably like Bison, Guile, Ken, Ryu, Sagat, Chun-Li, Vega maybe as 7,
probably.
and the rest of the people were just like random people. But because they were pushing for more and more characters based off popularity. So Cammy, T-Hawk, Balrog. I love this, just flying
So
Bison. It's cheesy as hell, but I can't.
What I found
One of the-
interesting was how the way that they like re-establish, like your boss characters in the game are not all the bad guys in the movie.
Yeah, and they made Zangief, who's like a quote unquote good character, into a bad character.
Into a bad guy, and then Balrog is like one of the good guys, and Vega's on both sides at different points.
Yeah.
So these kind of end fight sequences are actually some of the only really good choreographed fights in the whole movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're some of the only fights in this movie.
Yeah, and
For a
it's-
movie being about street fighting,
Yeah.
there is very actual little fighting. There's a lot of
particularly
gunplay.
this locker room fight is better than a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
Also, why was Ryu just wandering into the locker room staring at lockers just before
Yeah.
this scene started?
And here we see some of the more iconic moves of Street Fighter finally.
Oh, the Hadoken flash annoys me very much.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I'm really delighted by the way Ryu just rips the shirt off, though. Like, oh, this is now it's serious.
Superfluous.
If I looked like that, I would never be wearing
No.
a shirt.
Oh,
I
no,
would just-
without a doubt.
Sports bras forever.
Yeah.
What that tells me is that Ken doesn't have abs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Look
Actually,
at him. Does he look like?
Well,
he
you
has
you
abs?
saw his chest earlier. There's
Yeah.
a little
So-
bit, but it's not as pronounced as Vega or
Yeah.
Ryu.
So we just got
If
a
I were
Hadoken
that
there.
actor, I'd be like, I'm not taking my shirt off next to these two.
Yeah. So we just got a Hadoken, which was the Hadoken motion from Ryu, and just like 2 frames of bright light.
Yep.
And then Vega did twice
His-
now his rolly claw move from the game. Again, fan service for people who know the game.
Yep.
In the movie, it makes sense though. I mean, it still functions.
Yeah, it seems like it's part of the natural
This is
fight.
actually a great pull
This
from
is-
Ryu,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
You're just cooking the man's face. Which
It speaks to his
This
vanity as a
beautiful
character.
face.
right, and that's something that
Shoryuken.
yeah, that was
You know,
lazy
it's a
as
lie
fuck.
though that he's in the middle of this and this sweaty and that hot and like his face is stuck in that furnace and his eyeliner's not running.
Yeah, that was Hurricane Kick.
Hurricane Kick, yeah. Like, in a lot of ways, if they would have just left a lot of that out, it would have been better.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is this before or after the Mortal Kombat movie?
I think before, because Mortal Kombat, I believe, was 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm going to fact
So-
check myself, but we'll see here.
To the Mortal Kombat movie really does just go with like, hey, guess what? There's a supernatural tournament for the fate of the world, and they're
Yeah,
gonna fight
it
each
really
other.
just like goes for it as far as
And
like
it works
supernatural
really well.
stuff.
It's way better. The Mortal
it's-
Kombat movie is actually a legitimately good movie.
Yeah,
I
we
enjoy
watched
that
it one
movie.
Friday night, game night, like in the background. It's just something to watch. And
Yeah,
it
Mortal
was- it
Kombat
was in-
95.
I would love to see a Street Fighter movie that just goes for it. And it's like, we are going to go over the top and be ridiculous and just make a movie about a street fighting tournament.
Right. This
And now is he quoting
this is
Milton now?
This delivery is absolutely insane as Bison right now.
Yeah. That's the closest we get to a Jean Claude Van Damme splits, right?
Right.
Yeah, he goes pretty wide in his stance there.
Yeah.
The floor apparently made of
The
gasoline.
world explodes for some reason.
Yeah.
That's
Get it?
ADR.
Oh, ADR, yeah. This is probably the most like obvious ADR we've watched in a long time. That's not how switches work.
I mean, but that's the eventuality of electronics not working is you just punch it.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm surprised you didn't punch your computer last time we were trying to record.
Oh, I
Constantine.
was-
That's
oh,
the
yep,
the 100-hand slap.
Yeah.
So right there, weird thing to notice, but Zangief had a tank top on. Now he doesn't. So as he was being slapped,
The
tank
slap
top.
the slaps just destroy the tank top.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good line though.
Yeah.
It's good.
And this, when DJ shows up in a second here, this is
This is one of the best scenes.
Yeah. Not enough Zangief. That's what
Yeah,
this movie
more
doesn't
no.
have. Yeah.
They're like they're just jogging out. Hup, 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 hup,
Casually.
hup, 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 hup.
I love this.
Yeah.
Why are you out of uniform? Oh.
I like how he has all the scars
Yeah.
on him. It's a little detail that you don't need, but it's a nice just little thing.
Can't pay me a freaking fortune.
Got
Just
paid?
like that's just genuinely hilarious.
So
Yeah.
good.
So
I like that that's his "We're the baddies" moment.
yeah, it's like that one.
Yeah.
What's that British series where it's like
The dumb Nazis, basically.
the dumb Nazis? Yeah,
Yeah.
where they're like,
We're the
"You think we're the baddies?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't panic. The
Oh,
building's
pigtails,
only
look
about
who's-
to blow up.
Yeah.
That's a great interaction
Yeah.
between those two. I think
It's acknowledged. Yeah, it's. I think that's what
Dennis,
makes this
the
movie
yeah.
fun.
Geef!
Is it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
No.
That the movie becomes really fun when it doesn't take itself too
Yeah.
Yeah.
seriously.
Dude,
Exactly.
that guy is fucking
When it
huge.
just plays around as like a stupid movie based off of a video game that's just full of a bunch of Easter eggs for a bunch of video game fans,
Yeah.
then it's a fun movie.
Yeah. I feel like once it gets to the third act, the movie goes like off the rails bananas.
But it's so
But that
much
is when it's so
fun.
much
Yeah.
fun, though.
Yeah. I like that Ken and Ryu are
I mean,
like,
that's
yeah, we're
what
helping.
really-
Yeah, we're totally helping.
That's what we really wanted to see
And the
was a bunch of our like favorite characters doing their signature stuff and just fighting.
And
We don't need the rest of all this.
somehow Dalsim lost all of his hair, probably because he got mutagen spilled on him.
Oh, maybe now he's stretchy.
Maybe.
That's what the little thing is, because you see it get spilled on his arms.
He was eating Laffy Taffy while he got the stuff spilled on him.
Oh, I do love some Laffy Taffy, but not the banana ones.
Or he was playing with a Stretch Armstrong doll, which is a weapon, really.
Yes.
You use it to beat up your siblings.
That's how you learn about potential. That's how you learn about potential energy.
Right. Ah, explosions.
Ah.
So,
This scene.
Whoop, whoop. Van Damme, out.
Nope.
Into the water. All right, so we got the crew huddling outside the temple as it explodes. The world
palm
facing
trees on
side of the
fire.
base. It's on fire. Something that annoyed me a little bit here in this scene, though, is just the AN being dicks to the Bison troops.
Oh, like bumping them and stuff?
Yeah.
Pushing them down like that. That seemed out of character for them.
Are we the baddies? I mean, that one
Well,
guy-
they are wearing, like, Vine Mark helmets.
So to your point there, Ryan, that man that elbowed the other man right there had a Canadian flag on his arm. And I know for a fact that Canadians are not allowed to hit other people.
Oh, all right. And we see Sagat with the chest scar here,
Yes.
which, again...
Oh, wow. I did not notice
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
despite
You would
the
have
numerous
politely
times I've
picked
seen
him
this.
up off the ground.
Right. Anyone, if you're familiar with the game, we know that Sagat got that scar from Ryu in a fight.
Yeah. There's your, what is it? Major Iwata or whatever, Ryan?
Sawada.
Sawada.
He's just
Captain
Years.
Sawada.
Yeah.
Pretty
One thing I
relevant.
will say, though, this movie has, 15 named Street Fighter characters. I think they all get their moment to shine, though.
There's like a little, there's
It's enough to be fun,
Could have been more.
but narratively, you don't grow any roots with any of them, really.
No.
you have to already have that.
Tear gas.
Coming
Ha!
as fans of the game, it's like, oh yeah, like, but if you weren't really familiar with it,
Yeah. Right. So in a minute or so, we'll get a very awkward group shot of everyone doing their victory
finishing
pose
moves.
from the
Yeah.
games.
Yep.
Ken, shut up.
Shut up.
I'm so annoyed by you.
he's
Yeah.
terrible.
You're not needed in this movie.
GTFO, son.
Boxing gloves.
This is a cool take here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives him the Bison sideways thumb. No, thumbs up, bro.
I just think that he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to do thumbs up.
I like that.
Fucking Bison bug.
Yeah.
Look at those pants.
They're
Yeah, what's-
fantastic.
The Sagat laughing is just
Yeah.
great, though.
Yeah.
And is DJ? Did someone shake him out of a Tim Burton movie? Is that where he got those pants?
See, and now she's terrible again.
Yeah. I like how he has two American flag tattoos. Oh no, he doesn't have two American flag
just the
tattoos.
one
He
side.
had. I could have sworn at one point he had one on his left arm as well.
All right, so in seconds here, we're gonna get the victory poses.
So good.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Oh man! Oh, here's the payoff. Nope.
Like
Yeah.
everyone
So
to
close.
note that Cammy's victory pose is that like
Yeah,
girl
the butt
legging
shot.
selfie at the gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except it doesn't work when she's just in pants.
Yeah,
Right.
she
Covered.
doesn't have like the
Instead
thong
of the normal
bodysuit.
thong.
Yeah.
Yep. Here for
Raúl Juliá con
Go
Dios.
with God. Yep.
Yeah, so here we have more of the disc jockey.
Yeah. Like that has been absent for 70% of the movie.
Yeah.
It's a nice little outro, though. I'll say.
It would have been more fine if they would have done it a little more earlier.
Sparse throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna have that kind of joke, sprinkle it throughout. Don't have it.
By
So
the
wait,
time
wait,
you get to the end,
bookend.
I've kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The guy, Captain Sawada's last name was actually just Sawada.
It was
Yeah.
Sawada. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I like. All right, trainer, fight technician, Benny the Jet, Urquides?
Question mark?
Question mark. All right.
As
Well,
good a guess as any.
Yeah, so that wraps up Street Fighter. So let's do View Again, Brew Again. Would you guys drink this beer again? Would you guys watch this movie again? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
the way.
Saison de Cônes.
Yeah, I would drink this again. I have to be in a mood for a saison because, like I said, they are kind of it's a very distinct flavor. But this one was a little different. I liked it. It's a very good summer beer. I would drink it again. I remembered it partway through this movie. The beer that I had from them before this was it was called BFF, and it was a sour, and it was basil and strawberry. And basil,
Oh my.
the French word for basil, it starts with a B still, but the French word for strawberry starts with an F, so it's BFF.
Framboise.
No, that's raspberry.
No, oh, you're right.
Fries. I don't know. I told you I can't.
Frais,
speak French.
I think.
I don't know. It's Fraise.
Yeah, Frais.
However, any French person wants to tell me how to pronounce that. So yeah, I would drink it again. In the movie, I will watch any Jean Claude Van Damme movie. If I turn on the TV and it's on, I will watch it.
Third question for you: who's got a better bod in this, JCVD or Vega?
That's a tough one.
Vega, giving it to the tan man.
Vega's got. I mean,
Vegas got the more consistent gun show, but when JCVD flexes and then he talks, the accent wins.
Yeah, I think Vegas got like 6 lines in this entire movie, and they're like 2 or 3 words each. James.
Yeah. That was a Say Strong. It was a good Saison. So I would drink that again. I'm torn on this movie because the last half of this movie is actually a lot of fun because it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's last 40 minutes.
But getting there is a trudge.
Yeah.
It's too long.
It's just like,
Which is the same thing I said about Sudden Death.
Yeah, the movie pushes
just
2 hours, doesn't
A
it?
lot of the Jean Claude Van Damme movies are just
Takes a while to get there.
So much fun, but they're so much longer than they need to be.
it's just knee deep of mud. It's just an hour of mud, and then it's like unicorns in Candyland because it's so stupid. I'll give it a yes.
Give it a yes?
yes.
Okay.
For review again too.
Okay.
It's too fun at the end.
Yeah.
I almost wish it would have just pandered more to the fans of the games from the get-go instead of trying to establish itself as something that other people might also enjoy.
Oh, I want to see a Street Fighter movie where they just go for it.
Yeah, right.
Just go for it. Like put
Just
as
trust
many,
that I know every character, every game.
and put
and go.
all the super moves in it.
Mhm.
Put all that stuff. I want to see Akuma. I want to see the Die 1000 Deaths, but actually put it in Japanese because Die 1000 Deaths sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I just a Street Fighter movie that doesn't care with like $100 million budget would be.
Let's talk about this
amazing.
guy's name, Thong Turd. Just saying. Anyone see that? His name was Thong Turd. One word.
Turd Pong is also. I mean,
So
Snit Laku Preprom.
yeah, I just particularly because Ryan mentioned it before. The animated Street Fighter 2 movie and the animated Street Fighter Alpha movie are very serious. They are very, very, very serious. But you can do that in an animated format, I feel.
Sure, yeah. So now we have on this end credits we have Street Fighter by Ice Cube,
Right.
Do you think
and we
it would have been
Rumble
more
in the
fun?
Jungle by Public Enemy.
Do you think it would have been more fun if they would have leaned in a little more to like let them use their stupid magic attacks?
Oh, absolutely.
yes, I feel like if this movie came out after the first Mortal Kombat movie, where they did more of the embracing of the ridiculous of that, where they had like Goro and Scorpion and Sub-Zero being like, oh yeah, this guy makes ice, this guy throws spears. Like they would have totally done more like fireballs and
they
stretchy
did that
limbs.
a little in like the follow-up Chun-Li movie, but it was not good. So it didn't even have the fun that this did.
Yeah.
It looked bad. We
Yeah.
should probably do that one at a later date, just because I want to. I've
I
never
agree.
seen it.
All right, we'll have you back for that one.
Perfect.
So yeah, for me, Bruggen, yes. From a lot of saisons, it might be from the Belgian yeast or maybe from the phenols that you find in that beer. I get a lot of like a peanut buttery mouthfeel. I didn't get that from this. I very much enjoyed the orange tea flavor. Wasn't overpowering. Wasn't just like that's all I tasted.
Ooh, stinger
And
time.
now we have the stinger. So we'll go back to my brew again after this stinger. I feel like if this movie were made today, this computer voice would be the actress who does
GLaDOS.
voice actress.
GLaDOS.
Yeah, who does GLaDOS. Which she was in Pacific Rim as the
She
voice.
was for Gypsy Danger
Yep.
Danger, yep.
because GDT liked Portal so much. Fist!
Yep.
It's like the end of Carrie.
Oh, he has the computer thing in his hand. That's why he can do the
Execute world
domination replay. That's there's a lot of people think that Marvel was the first and foremost of the stingers at the end credits, but we've done a number of movies from the early '90s that have that
Stingers.
stinger.
The one
They're
that-
all video game movies too.
Yeah, it was fucking Mario blew
Mario
my
had
mind.
one,
yeah.
On the podcast, I learned that.
This
You
is
ridiculous.
blew your mind.
Yeah.
From the guys from Nintendo, go see Spike and Izzy about making the movie into a video game.
Lord.
I would say that I think Marvel did it to make an extended universe, though. A lot of other stingers were like,
To link
here's
things
the
Here's a
together.
sequel.
Yeah.
where theirs are like linking things together.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, back when that first Iron Man one happened, you couldn't imagine it was going to go as far as it has. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation.
Right.
View again. Yeah, this movie's it's just fun. Like you were saying, James, it's a slog to get to that last 40 minutes, and this movie feels about 20 minutes too long. Like when I was watching, I'm
That's
like, oh
generous.
yeah,
I
an hour
think it's
20
about
minutes.
30 minutes too long.
Well, probably yeah, but I was like, oh yeah, hour 20, hour 30. Completely. Nope. Hour and 40 minutes. So I'm like, oh boy, we're in for an episode.
Yeah.
Give me that 88 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So, but those last 40 minutes, you're like, okay, let's go for it. Go
It's
for
so
it. Go
fun.
for it.
Every
Like
character.
those last 40 pass so quickly that you know.
Stealth boat.
Yeah, stealth boat. The E Honda Zangief fight, just ridiculous boxing things. DJ just scurrying away with money. It's fun, but yeah. I feel like if this movie came out a year or two later after Mortal Kombat, there would have been a lot more hallmarks of the series.
But if it would have come out a year or two later, you wouldn't have had Raúl.
Yeah, he
And
was.
that makes the movie.
Yeah, the best part of this movie, and that is the reason why I think it's a view again, because just the effort he puts into that role that he could have just phoned in. Like I absolutely love him as Gomez Adams. And
Oh yeah.
I think his performance here is better than it is as Gomez.
He's so perfect in this role.
Yeah, as a Puerto Rican playing a guy who may be British and is playing as a Southeast Asian, it doesn't matter. It's perfect. The theatricality and effort he brings into it is phenomenal. It's like those movies when you see Patrick Stewart or Christopher Lee in a movie that's way beneath their talent level, but just giving it their all, and it's just like, okay, this movie's trash, but what they bring to it makes it enjoyable to watch. So
For sure.
yeah, Ryan.
Let's start with Brew again. I like that Saison. It's for me personally, it's not doing anything where I'm just gonna be screaming to get some more of it, but it was fine. I liked a lot of the citrusy notes in it. I much prefer the other Salaman stuff that we tapped into at the end. But thank you, Steph, for bringing this. It was a good beer. Please don't be mad at me. Don't break it in half.
No, not at all. I never had it. I bought it because it was funny.
I'm just gonna die.
Yep, she's gonna fucking bane you.
Yeah. Ah!
Like
Why you
Bison wanted,
money?
like Bison wanted to do to Guile. It's like, how would you
Right.
break his spine?
Right.
Listen, you say something about my homebrew, I might be mad. You say something about a random beer I picked up in Montreal because it had construction cones on it and I thought it was funny. Not so much.
Yeah. That's
Jean
fine.
Claude is a good beer.
Yeah, it is. That's a solid drink. No, the brew again. Yeah, it was good. I cannot remember the name, and I'm not going to try and read this.
Saison de Cônes.
Let's go. Yeah, that sounds fine. It's good. It's good. If you see it, drink it. It was tasty.
It's got a fun label.
Yes. Lots of construction cones. View again. Yeah. Like, okay, there's a lot, I think, to kind of dissect with this movie. I would watch this again kind of in the background, and also if I ran into some other person who was a big fan of the games but hadn't, for some reason, seen the movie, and I'd be like, all right, well, just buckle up. This is going to be absurd. Let's watch this thing.
I'd be surprised if I found someone who was a fan of
The game
games
who had not seen this.
seen
That
this
seems
movie.
unlikely. It seems like a rare thing for sure. But I also kind of wonder what is it like to watch this movie having no idea about the games? Like, this has to be kind of a pretty bizarre action movie, right?
I think
like
it-
there's a lot of weirdness,
I
a
think
lot
it
of
really
really unique
depends
stuff.
on how old you are. Because I remember seeing this when I was below the age of 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I had maybe only actually played pure Street Fighter at the laundromat where my mom would take like the comforters to get washed because they were too big for a regular washing machine or dryer, and they had a Street Fighter 2 arcade machine, or the place where I used to play soccer that had Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter,
Nice.
which was, amazing because I could play as, Blackheart and Shumagorath.
Right.
So I,
Silver Samurai.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Marvel
an
Capcom, yeah.
old poll there, Max, to pull
Yep.
that one out.
So I was looking up like reviews of that old game and how how games differ from system to system or whatever. But I knew a little bit about. So it was like as a kid, this movie's fine. It's like, oh, it's action movie with some fighting, but above the age of 10, where you're and I wasn't really into the property at all. Like even to this day, when I play Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Street Fighter games, I'm always playing the Marvel characters because I think they're a little bit cooler.
Oh, see, I always played the Capcom characters. Always. I was never Marvel.
Fight.
I mixed them up for sure.
I like playing as Hagar in
I played as-
MVC3.
I did play as Morrigan a lot.
Excuse me.
That's still
Good choice.
Capcom.
Darkstalkers. Yep.
That's because you just wanted to look at boobs.
That's correct.
Clearly. That was my motivation.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think when you watch this when you're younger, like, oh yeah, video game or movie based off video game, you might not know it's a bad movie or not realize it's a bad movie, and you don't get the nuances of what Raúl's doing with his portrayal. But when you get a little bit older, you're like, okay, yeah, this movie's shit. And then you get a little bit older and be like, okay, this movie's shit, but there's some semi-decent acting in it.
Right, and some, like we pointed out, just some actually funny parts. Like I laughed,
Yeah.
real laughter a couple times. It's interesting. The more I think about, again, I mentioned I didn't like this movie the very first time I saw it in theaters. And the more I think about that, I think as just a person who liked the games, one of the things that annoyed me was the movie didn't really center on Ryu.
Yeah.
And that's kind of probably what I wanted back then. And it's interesting because the anime that we've talked about a couple times, the Street Fighter 2 anime from late 90s, I think, that movie focused on Guile like this one did, but on Ryu. So those two characters, it worked in that case. But there have been so many Street Fighter movies, and like there've been a lot of TV series of this. Actually,
Yeah, there's
lot
a
of
Street
them are
Fighter
on
2
Amazon.
animated series that came
Right.
out like a year or two after this,
Yeah,
which has like 30 episodes.
Yep, I watched that a few times.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember the quality of it, but as far as telling these stories, like a fighting game to be translated to TV or movies, it's interesting, and I think Mortal Kombat probably did it better. There was so the Mortal Kombat movie was really good, actually, the first one. Paul Anderson movie. But Mortal Kombat also had a TV series for a while. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
And
in
then-
the like mid-late 90s.
Right, and then it had like a Machinima series that was really good, and then
There was that really good web thing.
That's the
somebody made,
Machinima
too.
one, I think.
Yeah.
That was super good.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to translate the source material to a different medium, and for a fighting game, I think a TV series makes more sense a lot of the times because you tend to have like a fairly big roster of characters that are all important, and they all have you have a fan base that really likes XYZ character. And it's tough. In the case of this movie, we get a lot of thrown in stuff like T-Hawk and DJ, and like, well, they're not done any real service in this movie. But you could do a lot more, I think, in like a miniseries kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which I'll say the second Mortal Kombat movie does a lot more of that of being just like, let's throw in the extra characters.
That
we
movie
need more.
is fucking trash.
Yeah.
I hate the Annihilation.
Yep.
Oh, get fucked. That movie sucks.
Tell us how you really feel, Ryan.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up another episode of Good Brews, Bad Views. Thank you for sticking around with us and sitting through this movie. And hope maybe enjoying some beer as well. As always, check us out at www.goodbrewsbadviews.com.
Oh, yeah, we have a new URL, right? That's the new one.
Yeah, that is the new one.
Right.
New.
Yeah.
Red light.
Yep.
Red light.
Woo.
Red light. Red light.
We got podcast sign.
If you haven't already, give us a like on Facebook, GBBV Podcast, or follow us on Twitter, also at GBBV Podcast. Or on Instagram as well, where we post, just random photos of beers we're drinking or interesting things from the movies we watched. We're on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Google Play, Stitcher, all those good, stuff like that.
PodBean.
Yep, PodBean. Please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. It helps other people, find us and discover us.
Spread
because
the
of
misery.
algorithms. So that'll help more people find out what we're doing. And as always, please watch
And drink.
responsibly.
Good night.
Bye-bye.